Today on Pro Church Daily, we're talking about how a church of 90 people grew 42% in just 6 months using social media.
Well, hey there, and welcome to Pro Church Daily, the show where in 10 minutes or less you'll get your daily dose of tips and tactics to help your church share the message of Jesus while we try and navigate the biggest communication shift we've seen in the last 500 years. I'm your host man, Alex Mills, joined as always by the boss man, it's Brady Shearer, and today we're talking about how a church of 90 people grew by 42% in just 6 months by using social media.
Every single day, Alex, you and I, we sit at this table and we share tips and tactics to help your church navigate the biggest communication shift we've seen in the last 500 years.
We do.
I got a message through Facebook the other day from a member of Pro Church Nation who's watching Pro Church Daily, listening, and took these tactics, put them into action, and saw big results.
What do you know? They worked.
Who would have thought this stuff actually works? And so we wanted to share these results with Pro Church Nation because a lot of the times you just want to hear that it's working.
Yeah.
You want to know, wow, this stuff actually translates to me accomplishing my church's vision, mission, and purpose. That's what happened for Pastor EJ and Field of Grace Baptist Church from Shepherdsville, Kentucky. Again, led by Pastor EJ. He's the one that reached out to me. This is an independent Baptist church in a town, and this is really interesting. I love this part. The town is just 1,800 people in size.
I thought that I lived in a small town. Niagara-on-the-Lake has a population of about 15,000 people. Pastor EJ is in a town of 1,800 people.
I grew up in a town of about 1,800 for my entire life until college, and so I relate to Pastor EJ.
Wow.
I feel at home. Okay, let's talk about what Pastor EJ did that was so effective. Here is the message that he sent to me. He said, me and my wife are both first-generation Christians. I was saved at 23 from a pretty rough background. We started the church, just my wife and I. First Sunday, 6 people came. My wife and I paid for the community center out of our own pockets.
Amazing.
That was just 3 years ago. We closed 2017 out, so end of last year, averaging 80 to 90 people. Last Sunday, 6 months later, we had 170, and that has been the norm the last several weeks. We've seen at least 97 first-time visitors this year.
Wow.
19 joined the church last Sunday, and there have been 21 saved in just the last 3 weeks.
So what is this guy doing? How's he making that happen?
Well, let's talk about some strategies, really some tips and tactics that EJ was telling me have been working for him. The first one, low-hanging fruit.
Of course.
And this is an exact quote from EJ. He said, first and foremost, I would say that just having an online presence, allowing people around us to know that we are here has been the biggest factor. And this is especially true for smaller churches.
Yeah.
50% of churches in America are 100 people or fewer. And it's easy for churches of that size, I've served in many, you serve in one currently, to think online, digital, that's just for the big churches.
Right.
That's not going to work for me. But a lot of the times, if all you have is a website that is searchable on Google, if all you've done is filled out the My Google Business profile, these are the types of things, just having a presence online, that low-hanging fruit that's going to be really easy for you to set up and you've overlooked for way too long, you just got to go for it, that are going to make huge differences.
Well, and you said it. It's imperative for a smaller church. It's also imperative for a smaller church in a small community like 1,800 people, or even, our community is small. 15,000 people is a small community. And so just get online, get a Facebook page up and running, make sure your website's there, and I think you'll see return on investment just from that.
Second big thing that helped move the needle forward for Pastor EJ and the team, the brand. And when I say the brand, I do not mean the colors, the logos, and the fonts.
Right.
What EJ said was this. He said, we readily admit that we're not perfect. Jesus is still working on us. And then we take that same attitude and message and try to portray it online. This is the type of thing that welcomes new visitors.
Yeah.
If you're a new visitor coming to a church and you're met with insider culture, you're met with legalese, you're met with this is how you need to behave to fit in with this group, you are not going to want to return. If you are met with the love of Christ, welcoming open arms and saying, look, we know that maybe you're not where you want to be. Guess what? Neither are we.
Yeah.
And we're all on this journey together. That is the type of brand and culture that is conducive to people coming to church, coming back, getting saved, and becoming fully integrated into your church family.
We recently just did this with our Facebook page. Our About Us section was a pretty nice, like neat version of our mission statement. It was there was lots of Christianese in there, and I recently we changed it just recently to say, I believe it says, we're just a ragamuffin group of sons and daughters running home to their father, and that's all it says. Like, come join us.
I just got shivers.
Yeah, and it's like when we just like have the courage to admit that, yeah, we're just like you, whoever you are, looking at our website, you're no different from us, we're no different from you, and we're just trying to figure this thing called life out. So why don't you come join us? That's just so much more of an open door online, that point of entry. And yeah, of course, you'll see it translate into more people checking out your church for the first time.
The first two items on this list of 5 takeaways from EJ and the church's growth have been the two biggest that are kind of obvious, but we need to restate them because they're so important. One, seize the 167.
Yeah.
And number 2, be welcoming. Let's get, though, now to what I really like, the nitty-gritty, the real tactics. Number 3, Facebook Live devotions.
I love this one.
This one is crazy.
Yeah.
So Pastor EJ says, my wife and I recently started doing daily live devotions on Facebook. It's made a huge impact. We've seen nearly 30 first-time visitors. So remember, he said 97. So at least 1 out of 3 of those watched a devotion on Facebook Live first before attending church. Seize something. The 167. That's what you want to seize. The 167 hours beyond your Sunday service. Again, this is a town of 1,800. Pastor EJ said these devotions average that many views per video.
That seems crazy to me, that they're getting just as many views on average on these, seemingly small, short live devotions on Facebook, as many people live in that area. That's incredible.
But that's what happens when each of us have like 500 to 1,000 friends on Facebook, and then you get 3 or 4 or 5 shares, and suddenly the reach is exponential. Facebook is pushing live video more than any other piece of content, and suddenly you get 2,000 views on a video shared on a page because it was shared so many other times by the people you're connected with, and it just translates that well. And again, that's why Seize the 167 is such a big deal, because instead of saying, come to us, we can go to them first. 1 of the 3 first-time visitors watched that video before they ever stepped foot in the building.
We've talked about Facebook Live before. We're talking about it right now. I still think it's underrated. I'm on Facebook. I have it at least open on a tab most of the day here at work because I do a lot of work on Facebook. And I noticed that not only do I get notifications when somebody's gone live, but often their live video will literally just pop up and start playing like on my browser. And people that like I've never interacted with online, Facebook is like, you will now watch this. And so we need to tap into that. And maybe this is just a great real life example of striking gold with Facebook Live.
Facebook throttles organic reach, but with Facebook Live, they're going to shove it in your face. Hey, let's take advantage of that.
Yeah.
That's how it's going to be. Number 4, this is a big one, ownership over attendance. We did a recent episode of Pro Church Daily talking about how using attendance as the measuring stick for church growth and church health isn't great.
No.
First-time visitors, I like that. People getting saved, I like that. Overall attendance, if that's all we're tracking, it's just not going to point to what we're really trying to accomplish as churches. And Pastor EJ said this directly. He said, as cliche as it might sound at this point, we've really pushed community, belonging, and being involved, being the church, as opposed to just being at church.
I love that.
And this is where this is why we believe next steps are really the absolute best way to track your church's growth and overall health. Because what's great about next steps is when people are involved, that directly translates to attendance. But if all you do is focus on attendance, butts and seats, and you don't actually concern yourself with people being involved, taking next steps, you can become really stagnant, church full of passive spectators, not active participants, and that will actually end up hurting what you're really trying to accomplish, because what you track, what you measure, is usually what you focus on. And if all we care about is butts and seats, that's not going to translate to overall church health and growth. And
isn't it interesting, like Pastor EJ said here, when you prioritize being the church, that involvement in church, as opposed to being at church, you actually see attendance go up, as we've seen in his numbers. He's grown by 42% in the last 6 months. And so attendance actually has gone up, but not because they prioritized that, but rather they prioritized being church. It's very clear, and And I think it's more simple than we've made it out to be.
Yep, exactly. Final big takeaway, we mentioned this one already for Pastor EJ and his church, was the Google My Business profile. If someone searches your church on Google and you have the Google My Business profile tab filled out, on the right column of the Google search screen, there's going to be photos from your church, your phone number, your address directly linked to Google Maps, reviews from your church, contact numbers and email addresses direct linked to the website. Basically, a giant digital business card, Facebook profile sort of thing directly within Google. You've got to verify that your address is real. You got to fill out that profile right now. It's free and it translates to huge wins within search, which is how people are finding you. First impressions are being made online in 2018 and beyond.
There you go.
We would love to hear more success stories. So if you are like Pastor EJ and you have been implementing some of the things that we talk about on Pro Church Daily, and they have been translating to more next steps, to more first-time visitors, to more people finding Jesus and becoming more like Jesus, send those to us. For so many people in Pro Church Nation, being encouraged by hearing success stories is kind of that thing they need to really have the faith and confidence that this stuff works.
Yeah.
So send them in. We've also linked in the show notes links to Field of Grace Baptist Church's website and social, so you can check them out for yourself. EJ did want me to mention that much of these are still a work in progress,
There you go.
which I think is actually indicative that you don't need to be perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
Just do anything, that low-hanging fruit,
Yeah.
and that can in turn get big results for you. That'll do it for today's episode of Pro Church Daily. We'll see you next time. Hey, thanks for watching this episode of Pro Church Daily. We'd love it if you subscribe to this channel so you get all other episodes of Pro Church Daily.
And if you like this video, why don't you take your cursor, find the like button, give it a good smash.
Smash it. Thanks for watching.